Hello guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. On a planet named Vegeta, which was a planet of warriors who were in charge of the conquest of planets, a Saiyan named Kakarot had been born with the power in Zero, which was not considered or low class. However, while all this was happening, the god of Universe 7, Beerus, was very upset, because no being was able to cope with his incredible power. So at that moment, Beerus, a little disappointed, would go to sleep, while Whis was thinking about everything what happened to your god. I will take it upon myself to personally train this warrior, who is powerful enough for Beerus to no defeat. Whis, who would begin with his search throughout the immense universe, noticing a Saiyan ship which was going to planet Earth, Whis would quickly, with his great speed, reach the little one, taking him quickly to his planet, which at the time of arrival would begin to raise him. With the teachings of an apprentice to God of Destruction, after only 4 years the little Kakarot was able to master all the variants of the Super Saiyan, beginning to meditate to be able to control his internal energy and achieve the state of a god. However, it was impossible for Kakarot, who was still only a child.
Whis, I'm not able to access the state of a god. I want to cry.
Don't worry, my little Kakarot. This is normal. You are only 4 years old, and even you are much more powerful than all the survivors of your race.
Really, Whis? But I want to be so much stronger. You have told me about Mr. Beerus. I know I'm only a child, but one day I'd like to face him.
Of course you would face him, Mr. Beerus. Even I am confident that you are able to defeat him. All this power would pass through Whis' mind, while Kakarot would excitedly begin to raise his battle power, even reaching the Super Saiyan 3.
I'm excited! I'm very excited! I'm stronger than all my race!
So this would continue with the great training in which Kakarot was never able to grant a blow to Whis. However, Whis would begin to navigate about the status of a Saiyan god, realizing that he needed the power of 5 other Saiyans more. So in the whole universe of 7, it was impossible for him to get such a ritual. Kakarot, do you want an adventure in Universe 6?
Of course, Mr. Whis. If it's the first time I'll leave the planet of Mr. Beerus, I'm very excited about everything we'll do.
Whis, together with Kakarot, who was already 10 years old, they started heading towards Universe 6. At the moment, they would arrive at the planet of the Saiyans of Universe 6, who, without discomfort, accepted to perform a ritual. However, Whis would omit several points so that these Saiyans do not know anything about the God state, even erasing their memory at the time of leaving. However, when Kakarot ascended to the God state, his hair had turned to a red color. While it seemed that it had grown and thinned a little bit, Whis, along with Kakarot, would return to the planet of Beerus, who began to train said state. But after a few hours, the whole state of Kakarot would disappear, returning to normal. But in the entire internal system of Kakarot, the essence of a god had remained, and of this he would wish.
Ho! When we had to go to Universe 6 for the Saiyan God ritual, and only stayed for a few minutes. What a disappointment.
Don't worry, Kakarot. There's no evil that has come for good. The essence of a god has emerged with your internal energy, so you don't have to worry.
Excellent! I want to be as powerful as you, Whis.
That's a great goal, Kakarot. I hope in the not-so-distant future I can fight you, little. But Whis would also realize that although Kakarot had lost the state of God Saiyan, his body had been toned to a somewhat more adult body to be able to withstand the entire state of a god. Whis, without giving importance, would begin with the training of Kakarot. Being able to months of training, Kakarot be able to master his divine energy completely, being able to access the state of a god and even transform into Super Saiyan God. Kakarot, the state of a god is simply that each of his techniques, instead of carrying a normal ki, will be with a divine ki, unlike the Super Saiyan god, which will grant him regeneration, speed, and dexterity on the battlefield.
I understand, Whis. Thank you very much for each of your teachings. Without you, I could not achieve anything of what I had achieved so far.
Meanwhile, the evil Emperor Frieza was on his ship, a little pensive due to the last words of a Saiyan, which were tormenting them every day of their entire existence.
Frieza, it doesn't matter that you end my life right now. The legendary Saiyan has been born, and when he's in front of you, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Damn memories! I can't believe that the words of a dirty Saiyan make me think too much. This is unforgivable. I can't let it go. I will finish with all the remaining Saiyans.
Frieza at the moment would send of each surviving Saiyan who began to go to the planet Namek, because Frieza likewise desired immortality for fear of the legendary Super Saiyan. Instantly they would arrive on the planet Prince Vegeta along with Raditz and Nappa, who would make a blow to the great Frieza, who without any remorse would begin to torture each of the Saiyans, who were not able to do absolutely anything.
I'll not kill you. You will witness how I, the great Frieza, will become an immortal being.
Meanwhile, on the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would feel a picket in his heart. That's right, Kakarot felt that something very bad was about to happen for someone he greatly appreciated.
Whis, I'm sorry, but I'll go to where my heart takes me. I feel that something very bad's about to happen with someone close to me.
I understand, Kakarot, but let me investigate for a moment to help you. Whis, with his staff, would investigate much faster, realizing that the last survivors of the Saiyan race were about to be eliminated by Frieza. Whis would inform all this to Kakarot, who with that information would be able to quickly get to where Frieza was in front of the Dragon Spheres. Instantly, Raditz, on the verge of death, would recognize Kakarot being identical to his father.
Kakarot? Where have you been? I've gone to the planet Earth and searched for you and I couldn't find you.
Kakarot would realize that the guy who was on the floor was his brother. Since Whis had previously informed him where his ship was really going, Frieza, at the moment of observing him, would enter into a great panic. Due to recognizing him instantly, Frieza, with the help of a Namekian, would ask for his wish quickly, obtaining eternal life.
Damn, there's nothing we can do anymore. The damn Frieza has achieved immortality.
At this moment, I'll teach you, even though you're immortal, there are ways to end beings like you. Don't make me laugh. You're a simple dirty monkey.
Frieza, without trusting himself in the same way, would accede to his last form, with which instantly he would pounce against Kakarot, giving hundreds of cuts, which Goku, just by bending down a little, was able to dodge all completely. But at that moment, Kakarot would connect a slightly blow, sending Frieza to fly, while throwing a sphere of golden energy with which it served for the trio of Saiyans to recover completely.
Doesn't make any fun for me to end up with being as pathetic as you.
Annoying, Frieza would start attacking, with fists, kicks, and energy rays, and nothing was capable of destroying Kakarot's defense. Which, upon realizing that the supposed Emperor of Evil Frieza was nothing but a disappointment, decided to stretch out one of his hands in his state beyond a god.
This is one of the many ways to end the life of an immortal, since the divine energy is capable of ending immortal beings.
Kakarot, of a large energy sphere, would be able to raise Frieza in the air, disappearing it in simple atoms. Kakarot would return to observe the trio of Saiyans, who were also trembling at the instant of Raditz wanting to say something. Kakarot would disappear from the place, quickly returning to the planet of Beerus.
Wow, that was fast, Kakarot. I don't know what they call him, the Emperor of Evil. If the power he possessed was nothing out of the ordinary, he was a cockroach more.
What happens, Kakarot, that you've trained with the master of a god of destruction. That's why your power exploded in an amazing way.
You're right, Whis, but I don't plan to have contact with those Saiyans because their whole heart's pure evil, and I can't tolerate that.
Whis and Kakarot continued with their training. However, Whis, realizing that the progress of Kakarot, decided to send him to train to the dimension of his staff. From today, we will take on new training. You must be able to master the whole state of a god completely, and the control of your internal energy. Whis would absorb Kakarot with his staff, sending him to a very different dimension, in which Kakarot was not able to move, and even his body was very heavy.
What is this? I'm not able to move.
Kakarot would spend several weeks without being able to move in the slightest. However, after a while, all the energy in his body would begin to attach to the place. Each energy vein began to expand much more. At the moment, Kakarot would stop expelling power to try to move. On the contrary, he would let his internal energy guide him. By neutralizing his power, he was able to move normally.
So this is the power of a god, the power that I must completely control. I know I could do it.
Kakarot would start training in that place for several months, which each being in the Super Saiyan Blue. After 6 months, Whis would take Kakarot out of that dimension, being a little surprised to observe the new transformation that Kakarot had obtained.
Kakarot, the power you've achieved is incredible. Thank you, Whis. I really appreciate it.
At that moment, I will teach you a technique which is capable of multiplying your power. Some time ago, I taught you to Kaio, but not being able to learn it, I created his.
To multiply my power, I want to learn it. I want to achieve it.
I will teach it to you in case you are in case of death or life, since this technique has no effects on the body.
What do you mean? What's the side effects of this technique?
The technique is called Hyper Kaioken, but if you use it for more than 48 hours, your soul is affected in an incredible way, and not even the Super Dragon Balls will be able to bring you back to life.
I understand, Whis, but I still want to learn it. If on some occasion an extremely powerful warrior corners me, I plan to use it. I prefer to die with it.
That's what a true warrior would say then, Kakarot. I hope you're prepared to endure the training of the Hyper Kaioken. Whis would begin with the teachings of the Hyper Kaioken, which at the beginning were capable of even making Kakarot scream for all the pain he suffered in the training. However, every time Whis was about to stop, Kakarot refused. He wanted to take his body to the limit. At the end of each training, Kakarot was in his base state and on the verge of death.
The physique it takes to maintain this technique must be amazing. This hurts too much. I feel like every part of my body is tearing.
After spending about 2 months of suffering for Kakarot, he was able to master the technique completely. Kakarot, I'm very proud of you. You've been able to master the Hyper Kaioken, a technique just as complex as the Ultra Instinct.
I don't know what the Ultra Instinct is, but if I'm able to master the Hyper Kaioken, I'm sure I'll be able to master that technique.
Kakarot, with a lot of enthusiasm, will activate the Kaioken in his blue god state, which at the moment of activating it, he would feel how his power had increased in an incredible way.
This power is amazing! I can't believe all the power running through my body.
Kakarot would take his body to the limit, realizing that so much power was capable of supporting his entire body. The power that Kakarot had obtained in that short period of time had been incredible, and when combined with the Kaioken, his power had skyrocketed in an incredible way. So much was his power on this occasion that he was even able to attract the attention of Beerus, the god of destruction of the entire Universe 7.
What's all this fuss? Whis, but who is he?
Oh, Mr. Beerus, I ask you an apology, and answering your other question, he's a Saiyan, and his name is Kakarot. Knowing that you constantly get bored, decided to train him.
So train him. Do you think this simple mortal's capable of doing something to me?
Mr. Beerus, don't underestimate him, because he can end up in terrible conditions his power is. Whis was not able to finish his sentence because at that precise moment, Beerus had thrown himself against Kakarot who, when observing him in front of him, by intuition was able to cover himself with an incredible blow, but the power was so much that he would even send him flying to a few mountains, destroying them completely.
Is that really all the power of that Saiyan? I didn't even use 45% of all my power, and apparently he was defeated.
At that moment that Beerus was about to retire, a great rumble would be felt from that crater where Kakarot had been sent to fly. At that moment, Kakarot, of a great speed, would begin to exchange blows with Beerus, who would be a little surprised to realize how that Saiyan was able to keep up with him. Beerus, at that moment, would be hit by a great blow, which would make him fall sharply to the planet.
The fact that you're on this planet gives me to understand that you're the powerful Beerus, that being that Whis talked to me so much. But I don't care if you're a god. I won't let you humble me like that.
Beerus would recover from the blow and come out of that crater very confident.
The blow you gave me was powerful, but it wasn't powerful enough to make me bleed. You still need a lot more power.
Beerus, at that moment of finishing his sentence, was able to give him a big blow to the stomach, which Kakarot would spit out large amounts of blood due to all the damage he had caused. Kakarot, despite being used the Hyper Kaioken, would feel overshadowed by Beerus.
Apparently, I'll have to use all my power. The power with which I wanted to perfect her to beat Whis.
Were you underestimating me? If you have more power, it'd be better to release it right now. Otherwise, I'll end your pathetic life.
Instantly, from a great light, you could feel an incredible heat as well as a great pressure all over the planet of Beerus. What is Kakarot doing? But he must intervene because otherwise the universe would be affected. Whis, with his great power, he would use a magnetic field on the entire planet of Beerus, with which he was able to protect the entire Universe 7, while Kakarot would appear with a totally distant appearance, since this time all his hair was a black color, while his eyes were an imposing silver color.
What is that? I feel as if the pressure to a higher being crushed me, but this must not be happening. This damn guy is a simple Saiyan.
Beerus, at that moment of attacking him, he would be received by the strongest blow he had ever received, feeling like his life was completely taken away.
Me, damn! Where the hell did you get so much power from?
Kakarot, without any expression, would begin to approach Beerus, which at that moment he would release all his power. That's right, the power of Super Beerus. That's right, Beerus was releasing 100% of all his power, something he had never done, because being considered a prodigy, I never needed to use all his ability, and he had been able to fight against the 11 gods at once, being able to win the victory. But against Kakarot, it was totally different, since the powers despise not feeling it did not allow him to move freely.
I admit you're very powerful, but I did not think that Whis trained you in an excellent way. But I doubt you'll be able to cope with 100% of all my power.
Beerus' power had been insane, as the barrier that even Whis had placed was starting to crack. This is amazing! I do not think that the power of Mr. Beerus is capable of reaching this limit. However, Whis would instantly remember the words that his father Zeno-sama had said back to him.
My son, you as the prodigal angel will be the guardian and teacher of Beerus, the god of the Universe 7.
Father, I'll do whatever you ask, but in the short time I've spent with Mr. Beerus, he doesn't do anything for training, he just sleeps.
I know the descent of Beerus, and I know that he's a very powerful being, so we must have the best guardian and the best teacher, so that he knows how to distinguish between good and evil, because if he's guided by the path of evil, it'll be a sea of blood.
So that's why my father asked me to be the guardian of Lord Beerus. I've never seen him use 100% of all his power. Even against all the gods, I only use 52%. Apparently, Kakarot's power is incredible. At that moment of a great explosion all over the place of purple energy, one could observe Beerus, which apparently had not changed so much, but moved at an incredible speed towards Kakarot, which despite the incredible speed of Beerus, was able to dodge his blow, which would annoy Beerus much more. But the instant Kakarot attacked him, Beerus was still able to dodge each of his blows.
Flickering divine light!
A big light would leave Kakarot without vision, which Beerus would take advantage of to connect several blows to him. But to his surprise, Kakarot had been able to dodge each one of them, and would connect the first blow on Beerus, having no result. Doesn't matter that you leave me without vision, that won't do you any good. Since the Ultra Instinct is the state of one's body, I don't need the sight. Whis would be very surprised to realize how Kakarot had been able to access the Ultra Instinct without his help. But Beerus, without holding back in the slightest, would begin to attack Kakarot, which with the passage of the battle his power was wearing out, of which both deities would notice.
Your incredible power is starting to leave you. Apparently you still haven't mastered it in its entirety of the Ultra Instinct, but I must give you credit, since no god's been able to activate it to that level you possess it.
Kakarot at the moment would be knocked down with a great blow to the ground, with which Beerus had been able to inject some destructive energy into Kakarot's inner base, which accelerated the duration of the Ultra Instinct.
Damn! For a god of destruction, you're very smart, but I'm not gonna give up so easily.
Kakarot would begin to channel the maximum power throughout his body, with which he was becoming a Saiyan bomb. However, the only one who would realize all this would be Whis, since for Beerus, he was only raising all his remaining power. At that precise moment, Kakarot, as if were a flash, was even able to disappear from reality itself, appearing behind Beerus, which would instantly hold him tightly. Beerus, realizing Kakarot's intention, would use all his power to break free from that furtive grip.
Ha ha ha! Too late, Beerus! We won't die, but I'll show you that even though I'm immortal, you don't have the right to treat me like I'm trash.
Big explosion would be observed all over the planet of Beerus, which in an instant he was feeling as his whole body was torn. That's right, the incredible power of Kakarot had been able to leave Beerus on the verge of death, because instantly Kakarot would fall to the ground very badly injured and on the verge of death, while Beerus had wounds all over his body, while large amounts of blood came out of his mouth.
Saiyan, you're a genius. I must recognize you as the most powerful being that I, the super god Beerus, have faced. You have all my respect.
Beerus would likewise be knocked out of combat, and at the moment, Whis would approach both, restoring all his wounds and recovering all his power. However, from the shadows, an opposing warrior was watching everything that had happened.
So, after millions of years, that damn Saiyan race still exists. I cannot allow to be born against a Saiyan like Yamoshi bastard was.
Meanwhile, in the kingdom of the All, Daishaken was together with his king, but instantly a bloody sensation would be felt all over the place, to which even the guardians of Zeno-sama would become alert.
Who are you? How is it possible that you emanate all this negativity?
Don't you remember me, priest? I was the first commander of the underworld troops, and known for his first fallen angel.
This is impossible, but if you're Byakuya, my firstborn, the most destructive angel who has ever succeeded, but your heart was corrupted by the desire for absolute evil.
I'm here to inform you that I've returned, so you better prepare an entire army, since I'm not planning to leave anything of the divine realm alive.
Byakuya, even though you're considered a prodigy, you are not able to face me. I'm much more powerful than you.
We need to check that, father.
All the murderous essence would disappear from the place, but Daishaken was very worried, giving notice to all the gods and angels of the incredible problem that was approaching all the 12 universes.
Gods and angels, in case you meet Byakuya, inform everyone else, because in a one-on-one battle you have no chance. Byakuya is your older brother, the most powerful angel, and even above the power of...
Returning to the planet of Beerus, Kakarot would wake up with a severe headache.
My head hurts a lot. What happened? How long have I been unconscious?
Kakarot would change his expression to a much more serious one, realizing how the deities of Universe 7 were very serious and thoughtful.
Has something bad happened?
Kakarot, apparently a very powerful being, has returned after so many millions of years, and he has returned in order to destroy every divine being.
You're wrong, Whis. I've returned to destroy everything created by the divine world.
The incredible planet of Beerus began to be destroyed, while both deities went into an incredible panic, not even able to breathe due to the incredible pressure. However, from Kakarot's body, a very strange energy began to emanate from it, which did not allow a star-level Saiyan to kneel before Byakuya. That's why Kakarot was the last descendant of the powerful Yamoshi, which had even been able to make all the gods tremble together. Due to the bestial and overwhelming power he possessed, Byakuya, upon realizing, as the power of that Saiyan began to grow in an incredible way, and would recognize part of the power of Yamoshi, would quickly approach to stop the rise of Kakarot's power. However, the incredible power of Beerus would be put in front of Kakarot and likewise Whis. The power of Kakarot releases right now is even comparable to the A-level priest rank, and if you came to get rid of Kakarot first, it must be for something very important.
Don't meddle in my affairs, demon of darkness.
At the first moment, a large, dark-colored being would begin to fight with both deities, which were not able to move freely due to the pressure of Byakuya. But at the moment to approach Kakarot, a blow from a power from another world would send him flying to a planet, which even the planet would explode upon simple contact.
So this is the power of the Super Saiyan Primal. What a power for more amazing. I swear I'll honor your power and offspring, Yamoshi.
Kakarot would begin to accumulate all his power, as far as his body could resist, because the power of the Saiyan Primal seemed to have no kaimite at all, while several roars would shake all the 12 universes. The incredible power of Kakarot and his primal transformation was incredible. It seemed as if he, even a king at all, was in front of it. Byakuya at the moment would stand in front of Kakarot, showing his true appearance, which was that of a tall, blonde, and very muscular warrior, which only with his presence was able to make any warrior bend. But this did not happen with Kakarot.
For a simple Saiyan who has not yet reached his full development, you have a power even greater than Yamoshi's. I've had good teachers, and I've never given up, and this will not be the exception. I plan to end your legacy. And my legacy? That's impossible, because if you're lucky enough to defeat me, There are many more warriors who wish to end Yamoshi's offspring. I want to see if they can do it, so it's time to start fighting.
Kakarot would be the first to launch the attack, which would be reciprocated by Byakuya, who at that moment began to exchange hundreds of blows. However, Kakarot would realize how Beerus and Whis were not able to withstand all that incredible battle. So at the moment, he would be able to grant a powerful blow to Byakuya, moving quickly towards the deities, but Byakuya, with his great perception, was able to take Kakarot's leg, throwing him to the other extreme.
Damn! I'll not allow my teacher to die in this place! Cell division! Kakarot Evil God!
From the Primal Kakarot's body, the Kakarot with pure negative energy was detached, which had red hair while Kakarot and Byakuya faced each other. The negative Kakarot would quickly approach the other deities.
I'll send you to the kingdom of the All. Don't worry about me. I'll end this battle. I have the power beyond a god.
Both deities would be sent to the kingdom of the whole at an incredible speed, but at this time Kakarot had received several gravity blows, because by using cell division his power was divided into two, which was not recommended if his opponent was more powerful. At the moment, both warriors would quickly form a single warrior again. Kakarot would be able to cover himself with a large sphere of energy, which if it reached him, would be able to cause great damage.
That attack was dangerous. I have to fight seriously because that bastard's trying to end my life.
Today, only one of the two will be able to get out of this universe alive, and I think it'll be me.
Byakuya, with an even greater speed, was able to grant a great blow to Kakarot's stomach, which at the moment large amounts of blood would come out of his mouth.
Damn worm, you think I'm lacking the hands to hit you back?
Kakarot with much higher power was able to pass through Byakuya, which would feel like his life was taken away, due to the great damage he had received.
Damn, I never thought I'd have to wear this with you. Heavenly armor, divine protection!
Byakuya's entire body would be protected by an incredible golden armor, which at the moment of Kakarot hitting a blow would not be able to cause any scratches. Kakarot would use all his power and grant several blows on all of Byakuya's armor, having no result. On the contrary, his fists were bloodied.
Damn, my fists hurt when I hit him. What the hell is that armor made of?
Ha ha ha! No matter what you do, this armor will be able to repel all your blows, since you don't have the necessary power to destroy it.
As far as I could tell, when I hit it, all the impact was distributed. But what would happen if I hit it at the same point?
Kakarot would begin to attack at the same point, which at the moment the armor would be cracked a little. Byakuya, realizing this, would be surprised, and without trusting himself would begin to defend in the same way. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of the whole, Beerus and Whis had arrived.
Whis and Beerus, what had happened? There's no call from the gods, so if they are in this place, it's due to something very important.
Daishinken-sama, Byakuya would appear in our universe, but we weren't able to inform him since he seals the whole universe.
If I seal the entire universe, how the hell were they able to escape from that place?
Kakarot, a Saiyan whom I trained since birth, gave us the perfect break for us to escape.
Listen well. Did you say a Saiyan stayed fighting against Byakuya?
So his father. From what I could observe and listen, he was able to access a transformation called the Primal Saiyan. Daishinken at the moment would be filled with an incredible terror, while his whole body began to tremble at the knowledge of the name of the transformation. Father, what's the matter with you? Did I say something wrong?
Millions of years ago, the great priest, was completely humiliated before Yamoshi, and his transformation called Legendary Saiyan Primal. The power that Yamoshi possessed in that transformation had no limit. I never had a chance against him, but despite that, he reduced his power to have an even battle with me. So I can't believe what you're telling me. I was able to hear that Kakarot's the offspring of Yamoshi. In that case, that Saiyan named Kakarot is the key to end this whole battle, because if his power is as great as Yamoshi's, he can put them at bay. Returning to the battlefield, Kakarot's power would begin to decrease drastically, because his entire body and internal energy was not used to the power beyond a god, much less the power of the Saiyan Primal, which Byakuya would not hesitate. While Kakarot was massacred by Byakuya, in his mind, he was able to observe Yamoshi. Kakarot, you have the potential to even surpass me, but it's not the time, since you're still very young and sometimes we have to know when we should retire.
Kakarot, while being beaten, would communicate with Yamoshi.
No, Yamoshi! I don't want to let this damn worm make fun of me.
Kakarot, in case you win this battle, you will be stalked by a much more powerful being. I trust you, and I know that you will make the right decision.
Byakuya, you're an incredibly, extremely powerful being, but I'm not afraid that I'm not at maximum capacity right now, so we'll have to postpone our battle.
Cursed mortal. Now that you know that you're the offspring of Yamoshi, don't even think that I'll leave you alive. I intend to end you this very instant.
Byakuya with a magnificent speed was about to hold Kakarot by the face, but Kakarot with the three-dimensional technique was able to be enveloped in a capsule of his own energy, with which he was able to reach the Kingdom of the Whole, realizing because at the moment of arrival, an incredible crater would be created and Kakarot would be observed with terrible wounds. But the most affected were the energy veins, which seemed to explode.
Seriously, this mortal has the necessary power to save us, because if we were Yamoshi's offspring, we wouldn't have a chance.
My little Kakarot, I'll heal all your wounds together with my father. Instantly, Zeno-sama, along with his guardians, would leave the palace because they heard such a rumble. Zeno-sama would be a little surprised to notice a mortal.
Dai, tell me what's going on. What was the big tremor you felt a few minutes ago?
My lord, the tremor that was felt a moment ago was this Saiyan, which with its great power was able to reach our planet.
Zeno-sama, understanding absolutely nothing, but at that moment, in all the universes, an opposing warrior would present, but it was only his aura and essence.
After so many millions of years, the last offspring of Yamoshi has appeared. We think to end the whole divine world, but in case they gave us that mortal, we'll do absolutely nothing.
The essence would disappear from the 12 universes, but all the planets began to tremble due to the power, while Zeno-sama's gaze would change to a much more serious.
That guy was Megun, the dimensional king of infinity.
This is impossible, Zeno-sama. Megun would never go down to these universes, since the level of power is too poor compared to his universe omnipresent level.
It's said that the legendary Yamoshi was able to be born as the weakest mortal, but was also able to access the highest divine territory.
So that is why they want all their offspring to perish.
King of all, Zeno-sama, we cannot accept, since if Yamoshi's offspring dies, all of us will be his slaves.
Whis is right. No matter what we do, we will protect Kakarot, even with our lives, so that he will be able to reach his maximum power.
Meanwhile, the entire internal system of Kakarot was in a terrible state. Despite being healed by the Great Priest, this was not enough to recover the incredible damage of the Primal Super Saiyan.
Apparently, you'll have the joy of feeling the power of the most powerful god that has ever existed. The essence of the priest will not be enough.
The essence of Yamoshi inside would release a little of his power, with which he was able to completely stabilize all his internal energy. That's right, the entire Kakarot system would begin to regenerate at an incredible speed, with a much higher power. Meanwhile, on the planet of Beerus, Byakuya, he was very badly injured, since Kakarot's blows had likewise been overwhelming.
Hell, I don't know how I was able to stay at his level, but now I'm not able to move anymore. Damn, I'll die in this place.
But at that moment, a large portal would be created all over the place, from which a crimson-haired warrior, a bit similar to Byakuya, would emerge.
Well, brother. Apparently you've been beaten up. Brother, please help me. I'm not able to move. I can't do anything. Well, of course, brother, don't worry. Right this very instant, you'll become a part of me, so you won't be a damn nuisance.
Byakuya, sensing as the murderous essence of his brother, would try to flee, but it was impossible for him, as he would be dragged to the ground by such incredible power.
You're a fucking bastard. We're family, and you're planning to end me. I never thought you'd be this kind of scum. You don't have to be surprised. Who do you think ended our sister's life? I, unlike you, am not able to cultivate my power, but I am able to absorb it. You worm! You're giving me to understand that your miserable bastard absorbed our dear sister! Ha ha ha! That's right. I cannot deny that his energy was so great that I had to be on rest for 3 months, because if I didn't, I could explode.
Byakuya would try to pounce against his brother, but it was impossible for him. The great pressure, he would crush him as if he were a simple ant.
Don't worry, I'll finish the job so you weren't able to do, because otherwise our father will finish us.
Kimura would begin to absorb all the vital energy and the power of his brother. However, Byakuya would try to cause an explosion of all his power. But this was impossible for him since he had been paralyzed by his brother's murderous intention.
It's time to end your life, you scum.
Kimura, stealing every drop of his energy, would throw him a great power, with which he was able to reduce him to simple atoms. In the kingdom as a whole, those present were surprised to realize how Kimura had ended his brother's life.
Those bastards are heartless. We have enough power to finish these bastards, because if we don't, they'll finish us. That's right, I doubt Megun will keep his word, because if they're able to end his family's life, we, who are nothing to them, will be their slaves or energy food.
Father, I totally trust Kakarot. I know that he will have the necessary power to defeat these new villains. In the entire realm of the All, an incredible power would be perceived all over the place. While various catastrophes and anomalies were forming around everything, that's right, Kakarot had been completely healed. But not being used to Yamoshi's power, his body was coupling all that new power to his internal sea of energy, with which he made all the 12 universes tremble. Even Kimura and Megun felt such incredible power. The incredible power that Kakarot was giving off was unreal, because everything around him was starting to shake, and even it made Daishinken panic.
What is this? It's impossible! How's a Saiyan body able to withstand all the brutal power? Its essence reminds me of the power that Yamoshi used to release.
Kakarot, of a loud roar, would shake all the 12 universes, was able to calm all his power while physically nothing had changed. Since he was still in the transformation of the Primal Super Saiyan, but the power to differentiate was an unreal thing, since with all that power, he was able to even defeat Daishinken with just one of his hands. This power is amazing, but I have to completely master it. The essence of the divine god Yamoshi's crushing it. Dear Kakarot, is it really you? Has nothing changed in you? Of course not, Whis. I'm still the same. I came to your planet, and you collected teaching me everything I know so far. I consider you my father. Kakarot, the future of all of us is in your hands, because if you're not able to defeat these warriors, nothing and no one will be able to achieve it. You're right, Whis, but I alone will not be able to defeat them. I need the help of my master and the first Saiyan god.
That's impossible. Are you referring to Yamoshi?
That's right. Nothing's impossible. And with this power together with the protagonist god Zalama, I know we'll be able to achieve it. So let's do it! Kakarot would begin to channel a large part of all his power in the center of the universe, so at the moment, giving a great roar, he was able to open a space-time crack from which an incredible pressure was felt from within. So much was the pressure that he was even able to make everyone present kneel, including Daishinken.
What the hell is this? I'm not able to move, nor does Zeno-sama release all his pressure. Is he another king at all? Who has been able to open my dimension? That must be impossible for beings of such low power.
It was me! I did it because I need your help to bring a super warrior to life. Because the super Dragon Balls don't have the necessary power.
But you are a Saiyan. Who have you believed to invade my dimension? I don't care if you are accompanied by the angels and the priest. At this moment, I will finish with all of you.
Zalama at a great speed would throw himself against Kakarot, but they were surprised since no one except Kakarot were able to see the blow. Kakarot, despite observing the fist of Zalama, was not fast enough to dodge it, so he would be able to send to fly to a planet and on impact would destroy completely.
Inverted gravitation!
Zalama would expel an inverted gravity from her own body, which would begin to attract Kakarot all the same. I'm not gonna stand by idly, mythical blow of the dragon. A great dragon, which expelled an incredible power, would be thrown towards Zalama, which some difficulty was able to completely destroy it. Everyone present was surprised because the difference in powers was noticeable.
This is a terrible idea. We should have never done it. The power of the creator of the Super Dragon Balls is on another level.
Zalama, as he approached Kakarot, all the planets were shaking. Kakarot, despite knowing that he had no choice, he stood up again and again, so at that moment, from a great attack, he was able to make him spit some blood. But the creator of the Super Dragon Balls, instead of getting upset, would give a big laugh.
Ha 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 ha! How interesting this is. I don't remember the last time a guy was able to make me bleed. I only think Yamoshi had managed it.
Yamoshi! He's my ancestor, and he's the only one I wish you to bring to life. Otherwise, everything will be destroyed.
Kakarot at that moment, he had used all his power for which he would fall out of combat, being held by Zalama, who would heal all his wounds.
My good battle friend Yamoshi, you would have started from there. I thought you were just another warrior who desired the power beyond a creator god.
Zalama would diminish all her protagonist essence, allowing all the warriors around her to be able to move, for which Daishaken would approach somewhat nervously. Great God had created the Super Dragon Balls. For me, it's the greatest privilege to have him in front of me. I hope you'll excuse any disrespect towards you.
Don't worry. I had no idea that this Saiyan is a descendant of my good friend Yamoshi. He was the only one who was able to almost defeat me.
Were you able to cope with the protagonist energy that you possess?
That's right. Remember, priest, despite being born with great power, you will never have the level of learning of the Saiyans. And if a Saiyan strives every day to be better, he will be like Yamoshi, who is able to break all his limits.
Daishaken would be very surprised by the words of his creator, but at the moment, Zeno-sama would appear along with both of his guardians, who in the same way were also very surprised to hear the exploits of the incredible Zama.
Oh, mighty Zama, tell us, what's the reason you visit our multiverse?
To be exact, the Saiyan was the one who woke me up from the protagonist dimension. But don't worry, I understand what you're going through, so I will help you without problem.
Meanwhile, in a very distant place, Megun, along with Kimaru, were both very thoughtful because Megun, in the same way, had existed in the same time as the mighty Zalma. Damn, this is getting more and more complicated. The power of that damn Zalma is still as powerful as it was millions of years ago. But, my lord, do you think you have the necessary power to defeat that warrior? To be honest, I don't know, Kimaru. The power that Zalma possesses is incredible. The only one who was able to face him was Yamoshi. I was on the verge of death in every fight he had against that unhappy. But, my lord, in that case, what shall we do? Don't worry, we have only to worry about that Saiyan, since Zalma, being a protagonist, cannot intervene in the world of multiversal beings. Meanwhile, Kakarot would recover completely, so the instant he woke up, he would watch as all of his other friends, they were training together with Zalma, even the king of all, Zeno-sama. Kakarot would give a big smile, so at that instant, he would access the Ultra Instinct, joining the great training, but despite attacking them all at once, they were not able to make any scratches. Zalma would end that training. He would begin to collect a large part of all his power.
I, the protagonist god, bring back to life the mighty god Yamoshi, the first legendary Primal Saiyan.
So it was, at that instant, a great rumble would be felt all over the place, which would cause that everything around him be destroyed. All this power was perceived by Megun, who quickly recognized it. So this is that brat's plan. I swear I'll crush both scumbags. I don't care if I have to die. I'll end everything they love. But, my lord, if you die, we'll not be able to rule since you're the main king of this whole pathetic multiverse. I'm Megun, the first demon king to reach the creator rank. I'll grant you the privilege that you, my faithful helper, are able to bring me to life. It's a very big responsibility, but I'll never fail you. Both supreme demons began to charge their maximum power, trying to attract the attention of the divine beings. But none of these would come to their call because Yamoshi realized that all this would be a trap.
It's time, Kakarot, as the enemy apparently plans to use a curse technique as the energy he releases is incredibly negative.
I trust you, Master, because thanks to you, we'll be able to overcome anything that comes our way.
This was how both Saiyan's primal god level were able to break their limits on each occasion, while both demons were not able to perform their task, for which Megun was furious. I don't mind exploding. I plan to end the whole divine world with an explosion of all my power, so I hope everyone's prepared. Megun began to collect an incredible power, which belonged to the souls of all the other warriors from hundreds of years ago, which fell against Yamoshi's hands. Megun's power began to skyrocket, and Yamoshi would notice this. This is bad. The power of one of the demons was rising in an incomprehensible way. It'd be better to do something right now before it's too late.
I finally agree with you. I don't want those wretches to become more powerful when we can finish them off right this instant. Kakarot, please be careful. I know that your power compared to mine is like heaven and earth, but I will not stop worrying about you. You don't have to worry, Whis. I promise to put an end to these garbage once and for all. Yamoshi, along with Kakarot, began to fly at incredible speeds, which distorted everything in their path. But in the same way, the power that Megun gave off was a really catastrophic thing to turn the 12 universes upside down. Before reaching where Megun was, he would be stopped by a warrior who had the appearance of a mutated demon.
Damn Saiyans, it's not time for you to be in this place. So right now, we're thinking to finish with you.
That demon, named Belion, launched himself against both Saiyans, but Yamoshi of a great tread would release a surprising pressure, of which he didn't allow Belion to be able to move freely.
You're a simple servant, and I don't have time to spend with you, so I'll finish with you right this instant.
Yamoshi, of a great attack, was able not to leave even Belion dust. Both great with their great journey, destroying the main entrance in which both of the most powerful demons were.
I'll not allow them to interfere in the elevation of my king. I intend to give my life for the being to whom I owe everything I've learned.
Kimuru began to raise his power in an extremely incredible way. So much was the increase in his power that he even caused several disasters where he was. Kakarot at the time would access the Ultra Instinct when he didn't feel a great power from Kimuru, but he would be very surprised to realize that the power he possessed was even capable of tripling, since Kimuru, realizing Kakarot's trust, was the one he first attacked. Kakarot, despite possessing the Ultra Institute, was not able to do anything against Kimuru, who had dealt him a powerful blow. Making him spit large amounts of blood, Yamoshi would try to land a punch on Kimuru, but his punch was stopped.
I don't compare myself to the power of the king that possesses, but thanks to the power of my brother's bastard, I'm able to stand up to you, so I'm not gonna die in this place.
The two began to exchange hundreds of blows while Kakarot was on the ground spitting out too much blood.
Damn it! Yamoshi was right. Even though I have a great power, I don't have to trust myself. The blow he gave me was serious.
Kakarot would hit several vital points of his entire body, with which he began to make his heart rhythm normalize. Kakarot, without trusting himself on this occasion, he would access the Super Primal Saiyan, which released an abysmal power. But he was surprised. At the moment, he agreed to the most powerful transformation and looked like a simple ant before the incredible aura of Megun.
That miserable demon's even absorbing the power of demons from various timelines.
Kakarot would throw his most powerful attack, but he was shocked realizing that his power had not been able to do absolutely anything to him. Megun, after assimilating all that power, was able to teleport behind Kakarot, giving him a small blow on his neck, which he managed to return to his base state.
How easy it has been. Kimuru, I appreciate your loyalty. You can come to my side.
Yamoshi, before Kimuru leaves, would try to end his life, but Megun would stand by him.
I have said that Kimuru will be protected by me, so stay still.
Megun released a little of his power, with which he was made the powerful god Yamoshi fall to his knees, which, furious, would begin to release his legendary power, leaving everyone except surprised for Megun. Megun released an overwhelming power which caused even Yamoshi, along with Kakarot, to retreat, because the strong rays he emanated were powerful enough to even end the life of a king completely.
Kakarot, this is serious. The power he acquired thanks to all the demons of the underworld has been of an incomprehensible level.
Yamoshi, I know that you're my ancestor, but that power will not intimidate me. Watch this!
Kakarot likewise began to raise his power, with which he seemed to be accessing the Primal Super Saiyan. But something was to differentiate. It was all Kakarot's first, since his entire body was being covered with it. Yamoshi at that moment was surprised, since the form which Kakarot was accessing was called the Saiyan Ancestral form, because Yamoshi was not able to control such a state millions of years ago. So he decided to seal the most animal parts of the Saiyans, but Kakarot had been able to break all the limit which possessed.
I can't believe it! He was really make it. He'll be able to overcome the barrier of the powerful Primal Saiyan God.
the Great Ozaru could be observed so quickly, hundreds of energy extortions shook all the outer space, while the pressure was so much that it would even reach the Kingdom of the Whole, in which Zeno-sama, along with Daishinken, were very surprised.
Kakarot's power is amazing. I can't believe Whis trained him, because the power that was sleeping in that Saiyan is able to end the life of a...
On the planet of Beerus, everything around him seemed to be destroyed by the power that both warriors were expelling. But even though the planet of Beerus seemed to be destroyed, and Beerus was in a panic, Whis seemed to be in harmony with himself.
What the hell's wrong with you? We're gonna die and you feel like none of this is happening?
Mr. Beerus, you shouldn't worry. My little Kakarot will finally show the true power of a Saiyan, which even surpasses the Primal Super Saiyan. Beerus would be surprised because he did not understand Whis' words. But at that moment, everything would calm down. But on the battlefield, incredible blows began. Kimuru, who would try to attack Kakarot from behind, would be frozen by his simple pressure, and at the moment, would be turned into simple dust by breaking the ice statue.
It's Megun time to end your damn existence! You've lived for millions of years, but I'll have to end your life.
Damn, that's impossible for you, since you don't have the supreme power. I count on the power of the entire demonic race. You don't have anyone.
You're completely wrong about that, since I really count on the power of all my friends and family, unlike your pathetic stolen power.
Furious, Megun began to exchange millions of blows with Kakarot, who did not look the least bit fazed. But with his defense, he began to put pressure on Megun, who did not master all that great power. His power began to decrease even minimally, but Kakarot had noticed this, which, without losing that opportunity, wanted to humiliate him.
Don't finish with Megun so quickly. His power's starting to wane. Apparently his body's not able to withstand all that pressure, so I'll humiliate him and then finish with the...
Meanwhile, Yamoshi was surprised because everything around him was starting to freeze, while the pressure, on this occasion, was able to even make the great priest Daishinken fall to his knees, which his power was not at all low, but the presence of Kakarot was felt by all universes.
The power of Kakarot's amazing. I'm not able to stand up. I feel the pressure even greater than that of a king at all.
This is because Kakarot's broken the barrier that separates the divine world from the angelic world. I can feel the essence of an archangel god sleeping inside.
Daishinken would be very surprised by the words of Zeno-sama. Returning to the battlefield, Megun spits out large amounts of blood, so he was not able to do anything against Kakarot. On this occasion, was torturing Megun, completely dismembering him and granting him power so that he doesn't die. An act that left even his predecessor Yamoshi scared.
That's why I was never able to master the ancestral state of Super Saiyan. The way to fight is aggressiveness in all its splendor.
Yamoshi, with his legendary status, would approach Kakarot, but Kakarot, without any control, with a big blow had sent him flying, because he felt a hostile presence.
Kakarot, react, damn! That's not you! Don't let the essence of the Saiyan ancestral god be able to dominate you. You're much more than just a pawn of your anger.
Kakarot at that moment, it seemed that he'd been able to find and control, but a big ball of energy would pulverize Megun. But when he turned his head, his gaze was absolute evil. That's right, Kakarot at that precise moment was able to access a transformation never seen before. That's right, Kakarot's body was not able to withstand such a state, so he had to evolve. But this time, Kakarot's appearance seemed that of the same demon.
What the hell are you? I can't believe you're Kakarot.
Of course I'm Kakarot, but I'm the Archangel Kakarot, and I intend to end everything created.
Yamoshi would access his maximum power. Both Saiyans began to exchange millions of blows, but the difference in power was clear, since Kakarot's power surpassed him by thousands of times. Whis was observing everything that happened through his staff. He would quickly go to the place of the battle, being somewhat surprised because the instant he arrived, he was able to observe the powerful Yamoshi on the verge of death.
Kakarot, I know you're somewhere. I trust you, Kakarot.
Kakarot, while holding his head, felt a strong pain. Releasing Yamoshi, Whis would help him recover. But even though Yamoshi is at 100% of all his power, he was not able to do anything against Kakarot. But at that moment, a big door appeared in front of everyone, and a great pressure could be perceived.
What's this pressure? But unlike the pressure of Kakarot, is much warmer. From the door, a warrior, very identical to a Saiyan, would prostrate himself in front of everyone. But that warrior would throw a great sphere towards Whis and Yamoshi. The power of the Archangel sleeps inside you. It's bad luck that the negative power woke up first, so my superiors have ordered me to end your existence. Raikon, with a single blow, sent Kakarot to a planet, which would be completely destroyed due to the power. Kakarot would recover, but when he got to his feet, he wasn't able to do it. All his vision was blurred. Who is this guy? The power he has is overwhelming. If you want to take down these multiversal beings, you have to pick on someone your own size. Let's have an Archangel-level battle. Furious, Kakarot would lash out against Raikon, who treated Kakarot as a simple child. But all this was part of Kakarot's plan because he knew that his power was far from being compared to that warrior. Kakarot would allow himself to be humiliated so that thanks to his Saiyan cell phone, his power would increase much more. After 3 hours in which Kakarot had even lost parts of his body. I've gotten tired of humiliating him, but what does that damn smile mean? I don't know why I feel my whole body shaking. Ha 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 ha! Get ready. I hope you're ready for me to humiliate you, because if you have the courage to humiliate me, you must have the courage to be prepared for the humiliation of your life. Raikon, before being able to say something, a great aura in the form of death would tear him as he had been able to tear everything around him. Raikon, trying to recover from that attack, he did not have the required time as Kakarot would appear on his forehead, and as if by lightning, he began to deal him the beating of his life. Raikon, despite being named as the most powerful Archangel of the Saiyan rank, was being humiliated by a Saiyan who had been born in the mortal world unlike of him who had been born in the higher world. I plan to end your pathetic life, and I'll feed on your power to quench my thirst for blood. Kakarot was able to insert his hand into Raikon's chest, but the instant he was about to end his life, Whis would appear at Kakarot's side. Kakarot, my little Saiyan, I totally trust you. Don't let me down, please. Kakarot would begin to have a severe headache. That's right, the emotions and feelings towards Whis, who was the one who took care of him and trained him since he was a baby, were able to make Kakarot regain consciousness. Kakarot, realizing what he was about to do, would carefully pull out his hand, asking for an apology. But both warriors at that moment fell out of combat, so Whis would take them to the Kingdom of the All. Zeno-sama was surprised to observe Raikon since he was able to realize who he was as such an incredible warrior. How is it possible that Raikon is in these conditions? What happened to him? Great Zeno-sama, do you even know him? He's the one who is facing Kakarot. Of course I know him. But in any case, Kakarot's power has really been even overcome an Archangel. I can't believe it. This hasn't happened for 50 million years. Kakarot would wake up a little sore from such a battle, but Zeno-sama would continue to explain who was the warrior capable of overcoming the barrier between the mortal world and the Archangel world. That's right, the first person was Mikoshin, the powerful Archangel, in every sense of the word, being able to even overcome kings at all. But with the training of millions of years, unlike Kakarot, who was only 35 years old, it was something never seen before. Raikon would wake up expelling his great power. Due to that, I didn't know where he was. Everyone fell to their knees, with the exception of Kakarot, as he'd been able to assimilate all the pressure of being called Archangel. You're in the Kingdom of the All. This is the place where the most powerful being of the 12 universe lives. Raikon, observing Kakarot, again launched against him, but great was the surprise of everyone to Kakarot being able to stop his blow, despite being only in the Super Saiyan Primal. That's right, Kakarot was able to access this in a matter of seconds. I apologize for the battle we had, but I've been able to master all that power to 50%, making it mine completely. If you wish to fight, I'll finish with you. Raikon, with his pride shattered, would accept that he was not able to do anything against Kakarot. But at the time of leaving, Kakarot would be named as the new most powerful being of all the 12 universes. However, Kakarot would reject him immediately. Zeno-sama, I wish that you remain the being who rules all the universes, since your power and your word must remain the supreme authority. But Kakarot, your power surpasses me by tens of times. You deserve to be the new king and ruler of the whole. No, great Zeno-sama, I trust that you'll do a better job than I will.
You've always been the king of everything. I trust in you. My little one, now you are even a being which is feared by one of the archangels of the multiverse. You make me feel very proud of you. Father, I appreciate that you've placed your trust in me. I'll never do anything to disappoint you. Whis, along with Kakarot, would leave for the planet of Beerus, in which Kakarot began to train with both deities, because Beerus didn't want to stay behind any god of destruction.
With the help of the mighty Kakarot-sama, who even surpasses the great Zeno-sama, I'm sure I'll become a mighty warrior.
That's how the disciple, after several years, was able to even become a master, and the entire multiverse of Zeno-sama was guarded by Kakarot, who in his training was also able to master the Ancestral Super Saiyan. That's right, Kakarot mastered the beast state of the Saiyans. Gogeta floated in the sky, surrounded by the imposing energy of his new form. The stars seemed to pale before the intensity of his blue radiance, as Takami recovered from the initial impact and adopted a defensive posture.
What kind of transformation is this? This is the power of those who fight for something greater than themselves.
With a flash, Gogeta disappeared, appearing in front of Takami in the blink of an eye. The clash of their fists created shockwaves that shook the battlefield. Gogeta's speed and strength were unmatched, surpassing even Takagami's ability to anticipate his blows. Gogeta and Takami exchanged blows and energy blasts at breakneck speed. Each impact resounded like cosmic thunder, creating an epic symphony on planet Earth.
Your attempt to revive your so-called gods ends here, Takami. But you're a bug in the face of the greatness of my power.
In an instant, Gogeta unleashed a burst of concentrated energy, enveloping Takami in a whirlwind of light and force. When the light dissipated, Takami emerged unharmed, but with a more serious expression.
Interesting, but not enough.
The battle was reaching cosmic levels, with ripples of energy spreading across the far reaches of the universe. Meanwhile, the other Z warriors watched the sky, appreciating Gogeta's great power of display and Takagami's resilience and viciousness. The roar of battle echoed in every corner of the universe. Gogeta and Takami, wrapped in an endless dance of energy, continued their titanic confrontation. Space twisted and trembled under the influence of their powers, creating distortions itself. Bursts of energy expanded like lightning, illuminating the darkness of the night sky with dazzling flashes. Each blow between the two contenders seemed to release an explosion of energy that spread in concentric waves, setting the frantic pace of the cosmic battle. Away from the battlefield, the others watched in anguish and admiration. Bulma, with a mixture of fear and hope in her eyes, clung to the hope that Gogeta would prevail. "Come on, Gogeta, you must win! For all of us!" Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Gogeta and Takami continued their fierce exchange. Determination burned in Gogeta's eyes, while Takami maintained a defiant smile, though his expression hid a growing unease.
This is for the price you pay for defying the peace of the universe.
With a swift movement, Gogeta vanished and reappeared behind Takami, launching an energy-charged punch straight at his back. But Takami, anticipating, quickly spun around and blocked the attack with the dark energy shield.
Haha, is that all you got?
In response, Gogeta intensified his assault, unleashing a continuous flurry of punches and kicks. Each impact resounded like thunder. But Takami, though outmatched in speed, resisted with his dark power, countering the attacks with deft movements. During the scuttle, Takami took advantage of the prevalent moment of openness and opened up a launched energy bolt straight for Gogeta's chest. The resulting explosion shook the universe and Gogeta was thrown backwards, leaving a trail of blue energy.
Is that all hope can do?
Gogeta recovered quickly, stood up with determination. The glow of his transformation increased even more.
This is far from over.
The battle continued, leading them again to display an ever-increasing amount of power. In this fury, Gogeta unleashed power that defied the laws of the universe, and Takami, despite his arrogance, began to show signs of concern. The tension was palpable. The Z warriors felt the intensity of the confrontation, even when they were a long distance away from where the battle for the future of the planet was taking place. Piccolo was seriously watching, calculating every move and thinking if at some point this battle, which was far from over, would be a favorable outcome. Piccolo, in his thoughts,
Goku, Vegeta, we trust you. You must win this battle.
The battle reached a new climax when Gogeta and Takami met at an eminent point in the battle. The energy emanated from them, illuminating the vastness of the dark sky, creating a dazzling spectacle of colors and flashes.
You cannot escape darkness. Darkness will never prevail over light.
You're a fool if you think your light can eclipse my power.
Suddenly, a voice echoed in Gogeta's mind, a familiar but distant voice.
Gogeta, do not underestimate your enemy. Truth lies within strength.
The transmission abruptly cut off, leaving Gogeta bewildered. Before he could reflect on it, however, Takami lunged towards him with surprising speed, unleashing a series of punches and kicks that left Gogeta struggling to keep up. At that moment, a fleeting image flashed through Gogeta's mind. A vision of his loved ones, of his purpose, and the responsibility he carried on his shoulders. The energy of the transformation fanned, and Gogeta, with newfound determination, struck back with renewed ferocity.
This is the limit of your tyranny, Takami.
The limit's up to you, Gogeta, and your limit is my power.
Suddenly, the sky around him fragmented, and multiple distorted versions of Takami emerged from the dimensional rifts, each with a malevolent grin.
You cannot defeat me, Gogeta. I am eternal. I'm a god.
You may be powerful, but I'm not alone in this.
The battle reached a new intensity as multiple distorted incarnations of Takami surrounded Gogeta. Each emanated a dark energy that defied the laws of the universe. The air itself seemed to vibrate with the pressure of their combined presences. At that precise moment, Goku and Vegeta's fusion had come to an end due to the amount of power they had used in order to stand up to Takami. Goku and Vegeta, although they had returned to their individual forms after the fusion, knew that the key by defeating Takami lay in perfect unity and coordination.
Vegeta, we're in this together. Let's give all our power to be able to confront him so we can free Yamcha from this so-called god.
Yes, Kakarot, this insect will not defeat us.
The Z Warriors watched in amazement, aware that the fate of the universe hung in the balance. Piccolo analyzed the situation, looking for any weaknesses that could be exploited. The others prepared to act if the opportunity presented itself. Goku and Vegeta, now separated, their fusion as Gogeta, faced Takami with determination in their eyes. The dark presence of the supposed god loomed over them, but the Saiyans were determined to free Yamcha and put an end to the threat he posed.
Vegeta, we need to coordinate our attacks. We've always been stronger when we fight together.
For once, I agree with you, Kakarot. This insect will pay for what he did.
The two Saiyans lunged towards Takami, attacking with a combination of punches and ki blasts. Takami, though powerful, was momentarily overwhelmed by the timing of the two warriors. However, his sinister laugh echoed across the battlefield.
Your union will change nothing. My power is unlimited.
Goku and Vegeta exchanged glances, realizing that the situation was more serious than they had imagined. Takami unleashed a wave of dark energy that sent them flying, but they quickly recovered, ready to continue the fight. The Z Warriors watched with concern. Gohan, though a bit intimidated by Takami's power, maintained his unwavering determination. Piccolo, with his keen intelligence, pointed out a possible weakness.
It seems his power is linked to some source. We must find a way to break that connection.
Goten and Trunks, who had arrived along with Gohan, eager to join the battle, looked at their parents with concern. However, Piccolo stopped them.
Guys, we need a plan before we launch into battle. Your strength will be crucial at the right time.
While the Z Warriors thought of a plan, Goku and Vegeta continued their fierce assault against Takami. Every time it seemed they were about to defeat him, his power increased and the evil emanating from him intensified.
Ha 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 ha! Your resistance is useless. My power thrives on despair and suffering.
Then we must find a way to change that. Vegeta, we need to attack together, but with a strategy.
You're finally thinking clearly, Kakarot. Let's do it!
The two Saiyans, coordinating their movements, executed a series of synchronized attacks. Although Takami was defending himself skillfully, he began to show signs of discomfort. The connection between his power and the external source seemed to be faltering. At that instant, Piccolo noticed the opportunity.
Now is the time. Gohan, wait for the opening we'll give you so you can attack. Goten, Trunks, follow me on my signal.
Gohan nodded, conveying a look of confidence to his friends. Goten and Trunks prepared to act on Piccolo's directions.
Everyone, let's send our energies to Goku and Vegeta. We must strengthen their connection and weaken Takagami's source of power.
The Z-Warriors gathered their energies and, with a coordinated effort, sent a stream of ki skyward. Goku and Vegeta, sensing the surge of power, seized the opportunity.
They're doing it! Come on, Vegeta!
The connection between Goku, Vegeta, and the Z-Warriors created a unique synergy. Energy flowed through them, strengthening their resolve and weakening Takagami's external source of power.
This can't be happening!
The darkness surrounding Takagami began to dissipate, due to the large amount of energy they were receiving from their friends. Piccolo, Gohan, Goten, and Trunks, observing the battle, noticed the opportunity to intervene.
Now, guys, let's go!
Goten and Trunks took flight into the sky where Goku and Vegeta were, joining the fight against Takagami. With the energy of the Z-Warriors strengthening the connection between Goku and Vegeta, the real battle was about to begin. The fusion of powers of the Saiyans between father and son created an explosion of energy that enveloped Takagami. The fight intensified, but now, with hope and determination as their allies, Goku, Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks were ready to face the Dark God and free the universe from his evil domain. The burst of energy that enveloped Takagami reverberated throughout the universe. The fusion of the powers of Goku, Vegeta, and his sons created a symphony of forces, illuminating the sky with a brilliant radiance that defied the darkness Takagami had tried to impose. Takagami, enveloped in the luminescence of the combined energy, struggled to maintain his composure. The connection between his power and the source of his power, Yamcha, was weakening with every second, and his sinister laugh began to turn into growls of frustration.
We're making progress, Vegeta!
Yes, but let's not let our guard down. It's not over.
As the Saiyans continued their coordinated offensive, Goten and Trunks and their Super Saiyan forms joined the battle. The pressure on Takagami intensified, as he now faced not only the two adult Saiyans, but also that of his sons. The coordination between them was impressive, and every move was backed by the combined strength of the Z-Warriors.
Dad! Vegeta! We're here to help! Let's show this guy that the Saiyan family is unstoppable!
The trio of Saiyans, with their different levels of expertise and abilities, formed a united front against Takagami. The battle was getting more and more intense, with bursts of energy and flurries of attacks lighting up space like a celestial spectacle. Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, and the others channeled their energies to strengthen the connection between the Saiyans and, at the same time, searched for weaknesses in Takagami's defense.
We must keep the pressure on and look for any opportunity to unbalance Takagami.
Dad! Vegeta! Goten! Trunks! We all trust you! Let's defeat this enemy together!
In space, the synergy between the Saiyans reached its peak. Goku and Vegeta, with the energy of their sons and the Z-Warriors, fused their attacks in an amazing display of power. Takagami, despite his resistance, began to give ground.
This is not possible! I'm a god! I cannot be defeated!
The connection between his power and the external source was on the verge of collapse. The Saiyans, sensing Takagami's weakness, redoubled their efforts. Goten, Trunks, guided by Piccolo's strategy, attacked from unexpected angles, while Goku and Vegeta continued their frontal assault. Piccolo noticed a key opportunity.
Now, Gohan, it's your time!
Gohan, in his final form ready to take advantage of the opportunity, concentrated his energy and launched himself into the confrontation. With surprising speed, he joined the fight alongside Goku, Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks.
Let's finish this, Dad!
The symphony of energy between the Z-Warriors and the Saiyans reached its climax. Takagami, beset on all sides, struggled to stand, and the skies erupted in an explosion of light and darkness as the heroes joined forces to confront the Dark God. The battle reached its climax, and every move decided the fate of the universe. The Z-Warriors from Earth watched with eagerness and hope, knowing that victory was within reach, but also aware that the final fight was yet to come. With the Saiyans and the Z-Warriors facing Takagami in a cosmic confrontation. However, amidst the chaos of battle, a small distraction allowed Takagami to strike back with furiosity. Goten and Trunks, focused on following Piccolo's strategy, attacked from different angles. However, in a moment of minimal distraction, Takami seized the opportunity and launched a surprise counterattack. With quick and precise movements, the Dark God managed to evade Goten and Trunks' attacks, countering them with punches and energy blasts.
Ha ha ha! Your efforts are useless, children! I'm the all-consuming darkness!
Goten and Trunks, though agile and powerful, found themselves in a precarious situation. Takami, with his speed and cunning, left the young Saiyans struggling to keep up.
We have to protect them!
Takagami's concentration of power is increasing. We need to regroup and find a strategy to counter his moves.
Meanwhile, in the sky, Goten and Trunks, despite the setbacks, continued to fight bravely. They tried to coordinate their attacks, but Takagami's speed and cunning proved to be a formidable challenge.
Trunks, we have to stay focused! I know, but this guy's stronger than I imagined!
In an unexpected twist, Takagami launched a blast of dark energy that hit Goten and Trunks, leaving them badly injured. Both Saiyans fell backwards with obvious signs of exhaustion and pain.
Goten! Trunks!
This damned Dark God!
The adult Saiyans intensified their assault, determined to avenge their momentary fall of their sons. Takagami, however, taking advantage of the confusion and despair that gripped the Z Warriors, rejoiced in his newly strengthened power.
This is how the heroes of the universe give up. They may fight, but in the end, darkness will always prevail.
The result was becoming even more tense. The Z Warriors, though determined, were facing the reality that their fight was far from over. Goten and Trunks, wounded but not defeated, were struggling to recover and rejoin the battle.
We need a new approach. Takagami's strength increases with each passing moment.
We'll protect Goten and Trunks. We'll not let the darkness prevail.
The battle, now more critical than ever, was plunging into a desperate confrontation where the survival of the universe hung in the balance. Gohan, observing the critical situation of his brother Goten and Trunks, could not contain the fury that burned within him. A flash of anger crossed his eyes, and his energy rose to levels that would leave even the most experienced Saiyans dumbfounded. He lunged towards Takagami with shocking speed, ignoring any concern for his own safety.
With this price, you'll pay for hurting my family!
His speed and furiosity impressed everyone on the battlefield. Every blow he delivered carried with it a pent-up rage of a protective brother. Takagami, though initially surprised, adapted to the intensity of Gohan's attacks.
Do you think your anger can stop me?
I'm going to protect my family and the entire universe from your darkness!
The battle between Gohan and Takagami unleashed an energy storm in space. Goku and Vegeta watched in awe and fear as the conflict reached levels that defied comprehension. Despite their determination, they realized they were facing a power beyond anything they had faced before.
This kid, his power is amazing!
We can't let Gohan fight alone. We must support him.
As Gohan continued his relentless assault, Takagami showed a significant improvement in his defensive ability. Every blow was met with inhuman prowess. The battle reached a point where the universe itself seemed to be on the verge of collapse. The epic confrontation between Gohan and Takagami pushed the Saiyan warrior to the limit of his abilities. Despite Gohan's bravery and skill, the Dark God, with unmatched cunning and speed, found an opening in his defense. With a graceful twist, Takagami unleashed a ripping attack, a blast of dark energy that sliced through the air with a malevolent precision. Gohan, surprised by the speed and ferocity of the attack, barely had time to react. The energy wave hit Gohan full on, enveloping him in an explosion of light and darkness. The force of the impact threw Goku's eldest son backwards, causing him to stagger, desperately struggling to stay on his feet. The dark energy left its mark on Gohan's body, marking him with deep, tearing wounds.
Ah! This can't be so strong!
Takagami, with a sinister smile, hovered in the air, observing the result of his devastating attack. The black energy around him seemed to vibrate with satisfaction as Gohan tried to recover.
This is the power you praise so much. You're no match for me, Gohan.
Goku and Vegeta, witnessing the scene from a distance, gritted their teeth helplessly. The situation was becoming more critical with each passing moment. Goten and Trunks, still injured but recovering, were prepared to rejoin the fight.
Gohan! This damned We can't let this continue.
Goten and Trunks, sensing the urgency of the situation, approached Gohan to help him. Despite his own injuries, determination shone in his eyes. Brother, are you alright?
Yes, but we need a new approach. We're not going to let this guy get away with this.
Meanwhile, Piccolo and the other Z Warriors were also assessing the situation, looking for any opportunity to change the course of the battle. The pressure on them was mounting, and the need to find an effective strategy was becoming more apparent. We have to work together. Gohan, can you keep fighting? Gohan nodded, ignoring the pain coursing through his body. His determination had not dulled, on the contrary. Takagami's imminent threat stoked it.
I can't give up, but we need a strategy, something that could surprise him.
Surprise him, you say?
As the Z Warriors immersed themselves in strategy to counter Takagami, a small distraction took over the battlefield. Goten and Trunks, aware of the need of a different approach, exchanged determined glances. Without saying a word, they assumed the familiar fusion dance stance. The other warriors, immersed in their tactics, barely noticed the sudden disappearance of Goten and Trunks as they performed the fusion. The energy around them condensed into a brilliant flash that revealed Gotenks, Super Saiyan, the powerful fusion of the two young Saiyans.
Ready to give this guy a surprise!
With impressive speed, Gotenks launched himself towards Takagami, who was momentarily startled by the new presence on the battlefield. Gotenks, with his characteristic air of self-sufficiency, began to unleash a series of swift and agile attacks, challenging the Dark God with renewed energy.
Here I come!
Takagami, however, far from being intimidated, smiled sinisterly. With a casual gesture, he deflected Gotenks' attacks as if toying with him.
Is that all you've got, you little fused insect?
Gotenks persisted, intensifying his attacks, trying to find an opening in Takagami's defense. However, the Dark God, with a graceful move, countered each blow with ease.
Come on! It can't be!
In the moment of distraction, Takagami took advantage of the situation. With impressive speed, he launched a blast of dark energy that enveloped Gotenks before he could react. The resulting explosion threw Gotenks backwards, knocking him to the ground unconscious and disfigured.
Gotenks!
This is worse than we thought.
Takagami, now more confident of his superiority, hovered in the air, glaring at the defeated warriors. Goten and Trunks, still unconscious, lay on the ground as Takagami revealed in his moment of victory.
Ha 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 ha! Is this all you offer, Z Warriors? Your desperation only increases my power.
With the outlook darkened by Gotenks' momentary defeat, attention turned to Gohan, who, badly wounded but driven by an inner strength, began to radiate intense energy. The pain in his body seemed to fuel his determination, and a wild golden glow enveloped as his ki reached never-before-seen levels. In the blink of an eye, Gohan transformed into Super Saiyan Phase 3, a form of awesome power that surprised even Takagami. Gohan's hair grew out of control, his muscles swelled, and his expression reflected a mixture of pain and fierce determination.
What is this? A new trick?
Gohan, with a wild roar, launched himself towards Takagami with shocking speed. The force of his blows and the intensity of his attacks shook the battlefield, creating a storm of energy around him. The conflict between light and darkness took on a new dimension as Gohan challenged the limits of his own power.
You're going to pay for what you've done!
Well guys, this is all from today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.